Good.
Good. That's good. Nice to hear that. Do anyone in the campus right now?
I'm on the bed, by the way.
Oh, that's good. So jealous. I want to be in the bed too. Where are you now?
I'm just at home.
In Myanmar or in Thailand?
Yeah, in Myanmar.
Wow, so jealous. Which city are you in?
Yangon.
Yangon. Wow, I haven't been there before, but it's so beautiful. I just like saw in a lot of TV programs. I just like want to go there someday.
Yeah, you should.
And also many cities in Myanmar I want to visit to just like to go to see the temples.
Yeah, if you want to see temples, you should go to Bagan.
Yeah.
Type it out for you. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Let's wait until the COVID situation is better. I think I'll just like find. Yeah. Okay, then everyone, just like welcome to our interaction design class. Okay, so today we are going to begin with the short presentation from each first. Okay, so that we can just like continue on the next phase. You can see that when we had the case studies on last class, you can see that all of you saw those companies or those people had the problem. Some of them might be like happen because of like one of the reasons stated in the slide on last class. That was like the beginning of having the information system project or the new information system. I don't call it as new information because some of the business cases, they need to just like upgrade or improve their current information system that they have only. So that's why I call it as information system project, because sometimes it's just like upgrading or updating the current one. Okay, then everyone, I'll just like let's do like this. I'll just like open the case for you, and then I just like ask each team to help just like talking about that case a bit, what's going on with that case, and then just present for what you did. Okay, and I really appreciated that some of you asked me for some additional information that you need for the case. That is like very good. That means, okay, you can be the system analyst in the future for sure, because you just like have a good notice for the things you haven't learned and you just like don't ignore them. Okay, then, okay, just like let you see my chat screen first before I call you, sorry, I call each team to help presenting your case study. Okay. Oh, by the way, somebody asked me for uploading video clips, and I did it for you already. It is not quite good because I don't know how to edit properly. Last night I tried to just like use iMovie to just like edit it, but it took a lot of time to render the video clips. So that's why I decided to upload it straight away on YouTube, and then just like use the YouTube features to just like trim the clips. But I don't know whether it works well or not, because I finished it around like midnight last night, or like 12:30 last night. It is just like quite late, and I'm not sure. I didn't check yet, but you just like try to just like see how it works or not. Okay, then this one, okay, we just like go to the team discussion here for the Attaway Airlines part 1, part 2, and Trent College. Let's do like this. I will just like follow the order. Go to Attaway Airlines part 1 first, and then go to part 2. Okay. After that, we go to Trent College. Okay. So firstly, okay, we do the order like this. Within first, within the team first, and then Nakarin and the team to explain about airline, Attaway Airline. So for Christine's team, could you please just like talk about the airline, Attaway Airline case that you read, like a short summary for the case before we talk about the things that you did for proposing to Attaway Airline. Wow, when I moved to Attaway Airlines part 2, James and the team, please just like talk about this case a bit. Summarize the case a bit before you start talking about the solution that you do. Same as the last group of, the last case, that is Trent College. Sphere and your team, please just like summarize this case a bit before you start talking about your solution. Because the reason is because other teams, they do like other cases and they don't know what is this case about. Okay, so please help just like sharing these things to other classmates too. Thank you. Okay, then I just like start with the first case. Okay, I'll open this case for you guys. Okay, so now we start with case 2-1 Attaway Airlines part 1. So can we start from Christine's team first? Christine, while you are presenting, you may share your screen, okay, to all of us. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I think someone with a Google Doc in our team can share the screen.
Okay.
Kamal, are you there?
Yeah, we see. I think Kamon, she shares her screen already.
All right, so let's see. Firstly, let's talk about the case. We have to choose between two systems. In a nutshell, okay, there's the customer reservation system and there's also the accounting information system, which needs to be implemented. And you as a director has to choose between both of these. Each of them have to have their own case in presenting these to you. As in Dan saying that the CRS is vital because it reduces operational costs and customer service, while Molly says that the accounting system must deal with the new federal regulations. So first, as a director, how will I prepare for this meeting? I would first establish the priority of the projects in which the time frame of the next financial disclosure period must be put into consideration, in contrast with the time to implement the reservation system. Whether can the reservation system be done first and then the AIS can be done after that and still be in time to submit the documents according to federal standards? And say if there's a certain period where there is a high season where a large volume of consumer reservation will approach, then the customer reservation system will, in this case, capitalize on that. But we must also look at the economic situation at that time period too. Say if it's COVID like now, then it wouldn't make much sense to implement the new reservation system in contrast to the more mandatory. We can classify AIS as mandatory and influenced by external factor, while the customer reservation system it's desirable. But think of it this way: if something is running fine, if the current customer reservation is running fine, but it would be better for us to make it to change it so that it's easier for customer service and operational costs, then it's a non-essential operation which should be considered after the accounting system. And let's talk about the 2 points which you brought up. What was that? Customer service and operational costs, right? As an airline, you're a service firm. Your operational cost doesn't really come from the cost of operating this reservation system, the old one, because during the software implementation phase, most of the cost relies on during the peaks. It peaks during the creation of the software and then maintenance of the software, but the cost of actually running the software is pretty low. And in reduction of customer service, yes, it could free up some of your IT staff or customer support staff, but if you're outsourcing those, then it wouldn't make much sense either. Therefore, the point of reducing operational costs in this case is negligible. You're an airline, you're not an IT firm. Your software is just there because it's needed. And as for the accounting information system, most project in this case is not it's not a whole waterfall. We live in the world of agile, right? And most of the accounting information system usually have modules for each reports. Therefore, it would be great if we could identify the dependencies that leads to the module which is required for the federal revamp and work on those. And after those are done, after we're over the mandatory phase, perhaps we can reach another decision whether we could capitalize on the CRS or should we continue working on the custom or should we continue working on the AIS system. And so in terms of feasibilities, the questions I would ask would be, what is the estimated profit gain from the CRS? But in terms of profit gain, you would actually be expecting us to gain more consumers. But in terms of customer service, the firm is in speaking in accounting terms, you as a company is spending money on each unit of service sold. Therefore, it's not a matter of estimated profit gain, but a matter of how much expense you reduce by catering to each customer. And also, are both of these systems developed in-house, or would you require some sort of vendor assistance or consultant? Because in case of an airline reservation system, most of the case you would need outside help anyways. There are lots of dependencies, lots of vendors needed. And also, should the entire IT staff be devoted to just one project? Because in a large firm, typically in a corporation, there are IT work groups designated for each project, and they won't usually abandon one project for another entirely. But you could devote 80% of the staff to AIS and 20% to work on the CRS. That is also a possibility. It's not a one all sort of thing. And also the estimated lifespan of the new system before another upgrade is needed. We need to have sustainability in the long term. We shouldn't have to revamp the accounting system every single time. We want it to run stably because the operating cost of a software, as I said, it's low, it's negligible. We don't have to worry about it that much. Yeah, so that should be it.
Okay. Okay, then this is for from the first team, right? Okay. All right, thank you. So the next one, okay, let's move on to the next team, please. Okay, the first team did very good job. It's just like clear, okay, crystal clear for your explanation. Next is Nakarin and the team. Okay, Nakarin and the team, please.
Hi.
Hello.
So we have prepared, we have listed a few things about for the first case. So what we have to prepare is we have to know a little background knowledge about both of the software system, and also have some knowledge about drawbacks from implementing both of these systems, because we are pretty sure that during the meeting day, both of these people are going to talk about the benefits of implementing of each of these software. So we think that knowing a little background of these knowing a little background of these software would help us to talk about some drawbacks of these two software. So we have prepared some questions for them, which is pros and cons of these two projects. How much will each project cost for time and money? Estimated gain profit of each project, and also what are the opportunity costs of prioritizing each project. So these are the 4 questions that we think that it is a very important questions to steer us to the correct path, and also help us to decide whether we are going to invest in accounting system or computerized reservation system. So we think that only asking these 4 questions will help us to decide which one is the best and which one will benefit us the most. So we came up with some issues with for reservation system, which is we think that to implement new reservation system will cause some problems, which is customers will have to adjust to the new system, and it might be some problem, especially for long-term customers who have gotten used to the old system. So we think that this is one of the main issues that we have to come up with a solution in order to save some of these loyal customers in the long term. Lastly, we are going to talk about the issues for the new accounting system. So we think that we need precise testing and development as it involves federal requirements and accounting. And also we have to take a decent amount of time to learn how to use the new software and also transfer all the data to the new platform. Because creating a new accounting system is very sensitive to the company because there are a lot of information and accounting data in the old system. So when we are implementing a new accounting system, we need to transfer all these data to the new one. So we think that it is very important to our company to focus on these problems. And I think that's it for our team.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, the second team. Okay. So you can see that for something that you just like get as information from the case, the business case, in the reality. If you don't know how it works, I mean, especially for the software, you have a couple of ways to do. The first one, okay, if your company doesn't have any experience in using or developing that kind of software before, you better find some books, okay, to read. Apart from that one, if it is a software that is like used by many companies already and you just like haven't got any experience before, I just like would like you to have the connection with other companies. So the easiest way to find the connection is from your classmates, from your friends, and from your senior, and from all like the instructors in CS. We can help you. Okay. So you just like ask them, okay, if I mean, in case that your fellows or your friends or seniors have used those kind of software before, they can just like give you some ideas, and also they can tell you like the resources that you may be able to find. Or sometimes you may have to contact that company directly. The company that is, I mean, for example, if it's the customizable software that your customer would like you to just like implement that software to their company, the things that you may do is that just contact the distributor of that software in the country that you work for. For example, if you work in Thailand, just like ask, just like check from the website of that software first, who is the distributor of that software in Thailand, and then you just contact them, introduce yourself to them that you are the system analyst of what company, and you are interested in selling the project of implementing this software to the customer. Can you send me some product catalogs, or can you send me some just like manual that I should know before? Because they will be happy to give you the information if they are the owner of the software. Okay, this is the thing that we should do. Okay, then now we just like go on to the next case, that is Attaway Airlines Part 2. So we start with James and the team first. James and your team, could you please just like tell us about this case? Tell the story about this case a bit before you start talking about like your solution to this case. And then for Tantita and the team, you just like you can go on with your solution directly. Okay. Okay, this is case to the Attaway Airlines Part 2. Okay, so okay, please start. Okay, for James and the team.
Okay, can you see the slides? The document?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So the issue here is continuing the previous one where Dan wants some kind of computerized system, but Mali wanted to prioritize the accounting system due to the government, because yeah, the government requires it for certain aspects of it. So there's a dispute between the two, and that's basically the situation. So what we thought was that when promoting some kind of a non-discretionary system in response to an external requirement, like the government in this case, there might be a problem where, say for example, yeah, it would, while it would be in the best interest to meet the requirements, I don't think it'd be wise to solely prioritize such a matter without considering other issues like the business part. So for example, Dan's suggestion for the implementation of a customer service oriented system is actually very important, and in turn could actually help generate more revenue in the long run. So the point here is to think ahead for the long term instead of sort of just prioritizing one thing just to fill some requirements.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Right. Okay, then let's move on to the next team, please. Pantitas and the team.
So for our group, we don't think that the system is non-discretionary, meaning that there's someone who is in charge, since the department needs guidance and direction in order to produce the project that satisfy the clients and the contracts. However, the main issue of discretionary is whether the person who is in charge possesses the desired quality to lead the project or not, plus the compatibility among the community and the trust in that authority.
Okay. Okay, then. Okay, this is the result from the proposing from Pantitas and the team. Okay, thank you. So let's move on to the next case. Okay. The next case is Trent College. We start with Tasphere and the team first. Okay, Tasphere and the team, please introduce this case to your classmate first before you talk about like your proposal or your solution for this case, and then we'll follow by Melin and Activit teams. For Melin and Activit, you can just like go straight forward to your solution straight away. Okay,ครับ. Okay, this is Trent College case. Okay. Right.
So our case is about the Trent College, and it has an outgrown computerized registration system. So the authority wants to get a new system for their registration, and the college president actually wanted to know the reasons for which they would want to get a new system, with a weight assigned to each of the reasons using a scale of 1 to 10, which ranges from low to high, along with our reasoning as to why would we assign that weight. So the main reasons for wanting the new system project is it would give us improved service because it might be that when we are going to implement, as the previous implementation of the system has outgrown, it might be that when we want to expand it, we would face issues while expansion of that implementation. So why wouldn't we just create a new system with more features added to it? So it would actually provide us more improved service. And it wouldn't actually reduce any cost because it would take more, like it would actually be more expensive to implement a new system, but then it would be beneficial in terms of service. So that's why it's okay to get a new system although we don't have any reduced cost. And it would help us have a stronger control, because having a computer system like this would actually allow us to keep the student records and requests, and then we can process them easily if we have a bigger one, like, because the previous one is outgrown. So if you have a bigger one, we can keep more information about the students and can process it quickly. And it also support for new products and services, as in it will help us to implement new features, like students can apply for like any, like they can apply in the college using the website, instead of coming on site to just apply. And it would also give us better performance, as it enables the larger number of students to simultaneously register. So yeah, and our average score for this is 6. That is it.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Then now move on to the next team, please. Maylin and the team.
One moment, please.
Okay.
Okay, so for us, we also came up with the reasons that Trent College will need a new computerized system. So first of all, we think that the old system might be obsolete in terms of features. So we gave the reason that the new system would have to be able to receive things such as notification through email or any other platform when there is an update available to the platform. We gave that feature an 8 out of 10. Next, increased security on students' personal information and online payment processing at all time. Now, we think that this is very important because as you all might have known, the nowadays there are increased like security attack and like many new loophole being discovered every day, and we feel that that feature alone is very important, in order for the Trent College to make a new computerized system. So we gave that feature a 9 out of 10. Next up is saving time for the user to register certain courses and reducing time conflict. Now, if we think about if we compare this to the Sky system that we have right now, sometimes even if we develop a new system, there might be some like limitations, such as the students' broadband connection that they use to connect to the server, and that's something that is not in our control. So basically, if we upgrade to the new system, there might be the server might be still overloaded because of the increased traffic. So we get that feature a 6 out of 10. Next up is replacing older less efficient system with a new one. Now, we need to keep in mind that upgrades comes very rarely. So if we compare to our life, say for example, you would rarely upgrade your, like say your school laptop like every 4 or 5 years. This also applies to like servers or any hardware. So we get that a 9 out of 10. Next up is environmental friendly. So as new like system are created, there will be more like in terms of like hardware power or like software efficiency, there will be always like a way for the hardware provider to improve on their, like, for example, their power consumption or like their efficiency on like working on tasks. So we feel like if we upgrade to a new system, then it would help reduce all of the like costs on like operational costs and also keeping electricity usage low. So we get that feature a 10 out of 10. Next is the new system will allow to build interaction and community, since students can communicate directly to their advisor. Now we need to assume that the old system might not have this said feature, so we get that score 7 out of 10. And also we need another reason that we gave is to adapt to various feedback collected from the current system. We feel like it's very important to listen to the user's feedback on the current obsolete system, and we need to adapt that feedback into the new system in order to make the system faster and better at the same time. So we get that score 8 out of 10. And the last reason is for the server to become a centralized platform, and to keep track of every activities and data in one place. Now we feel that like the capability of the old system, like it might be designed for like the workload of like 5 years ago, but then like if you fast forward to like present day, you might have like an increased student size, and it might not be able to handle the workload of the current time. So we get that score an 8 out of 10. And which brings us to the weighted average on the needs of a new system project. We gave it an 8.1 out of 10. That's it.
Okay, so the average score is around 8, right?
Yes.
Okay, that from the previous team it was like 6 out of 10. Okay, right. Now let's move on to the last team, Atiwat and the team.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I will be representing this case at Trent College case. First, we weren't sure about creation for the extras, so we did not prepare for that, sorry. First, we have 6 lessons in total for system projects. We have improved service. We have opinions that raising the bar of service provides more convenience for college students, since we are able to add more various and practical features for students to make better decisions about registration. Following this, it gives a more reliable system, because with a more efficient network system, it allows students to have a better experience and precision in registering for the expected courses. For improved service, we give it to up to 10, provided that students rely on their system for registrations mainly, and if we have a safe, reliable, and easy to use system, this improved service becomes the most worth considering. The second point is reduce costs. There are some limitations when it comes to the old computerized systems, like unable to register for courses properly, persistent bugs, and computer system failure, and those will cost a lot of money to solve. It could also lead students to change the school by the education system failure, and this is the loss of a tons of income, and that these are why a new system should be considered. Thirdly, stronger control. It is also important to consider that a system can be exploited by hackers and mess up the confidentiality of student information. If you have a poor quality of security system, And with stronger controls, we can keep the record of which courses students are taking right now as well. We give aid to stronger controls at first. It seems not apparent that the system needs a strong security in order to prevent hacking information. But nowadays, almost everything is based on use of the data and information, so it is still important. For the fourth point, more information, the old system could produce insufficient and impractical information. So to solve a new system may lead to a greater insights by scraping data generated by the registration system and making use of them statistically. Like how many students are queuing for a class. This information can be turned to more useful information later on. As of the last statement, like data is everywhere. It is more and more advantageous and insightful for college to analyze data more and more. So we give 6 to more information topic. After that, we have better performance. The new system could have increasingly fast and efficient performance for colleges to register for classes and be done without any errors like the old system. It may also be implemented with a good search engine which helps students search for courses more effectively, and it is needed to be fast due to the growing number of college students as well. Another hand, we give to the better performance with a more and more of student population. It is inevitable that it is going to be slow, and to support this problem size, we need a faster and more efficient system to make it more stable. For support for news product and services, the platform should support and allow students to have a voice and necessarily add new features that they believe are important and can reinforce the college system in a better place. For example, the new system may allow rooms for the additions of the previously non-existing tutoring services, the queuing system, or better search engines. Reduce costs and support for new products and services might not be the prioritized thing to consider, given that the old system is still functional, accessible, and fairly user-friendly. So we decide to give 4 on board of this. Yeah, I think that's all for our team. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And what is the average value?
It's
Um,
7.
You find the
Okay.
average one?
It's 7. The average score for this is 7.
7, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. So right now you can see that you see different style of presenting and like preparing of just like the presentation to the users. Okay. One thing that you have to know is that right now lots of people, they would like to have like to see the figures, facts and figures. Okay. So sometimes, okay, let's be reminded that for the documents that you have to submit to your users, okay, this kind of thing that they are quite okay already, the things that you prepare and show us on the screen. But I mean, like, if you really have to do the presentation, just try to make it to be interesting by just like using the infographics to help. It would help a lot, okay, especially for case 3 that you do about Trent College. Okay, it would be just like very interesting if you can just like propose by using the infographics to help. Right. Okay, that's all for module number 2 when we just like analyze the business case. Okay, the next step that I'm going to teach you is that when we come into the system development life cycle, okay, what is the next phase? Okay, the next phase that I just like want you to see in here, actually I just like upload the material, the handout for you already on Canvas. Okay, it's requirement modeling. how do we obtain the requirements, and how do we gonna model them. Okay, so this one, okay, let me just like start the slideshow first, and then I'll just like talk about this handout in the module. Just one below. Okay, so in this module, I'll talk about the requirement modeling. Okay. So this module, I will describe the system analysis phase activities that we have to do in terms of the requirement, okay, gathering and modeling it. And then I'll talk about JAD or Joint Application Development, Rapid Application Development or RAD, and also I'll talk about the Agile method, okay, including functional decomposition diagram or FDD to model the business functions and processes. Also, I'll just like introduce you for the Unified Modeling Language or UML, and the example of UML diagrams that we can use in modeling the requirement. Also, you'll be able to list and describe system requirements, including the outputs that users want, inputs that user has to provide into the newly introduced system, the process that we need to have, performance and controls as well. Okay, and you'll be able to explain concept of scalability. Okay, also fact-finding technique. Okay, when we have to do the fact-finding, okay, what techniques can we use? There are like interviews, there are document review, observation or distributed questionnaires, sampling, including the research. Okay. Also, when we talk about this kind of thing, okay, we talk about this phase, description a bit. For this phase, okay, system analysis, this is the second phase out of 5 phases that we have in the system development lifecycle. We will use the requirement modeling, okay, data and process modeling, and also object modeling technique, okay, to represent the new system. So when you represent the new system, that means normally we just do it in 2 ways. The first one, we present it as the presentation in the meeting room for the management and the key users can see it. The second one, you represent the system in terms of documents, and then you may just like give it to the management and the key users so that they can sign off and they approve for like developing the fully functional system. Okay, after they can see like this kind of object modeling, this kind of process model, and data model already. Okay. Also, this phase we will consider various development strategies when you have to do with a new system, and also we'll talk about the plan for transition systems design task. Okay. So when we talk about like this phase, okay, in this module or in this chapter, we'll talk about requirements modeling techniques and team-based methods. This one will be in Agile. Okay, that system analyst will be used for visualizing, and also we use it for documenting the new system as well. Okay. After that, we will discuss for the system requirements and fact-finding technique. Okay. Actually, I introduced some of them to you on last module. That were interviewing, document review, observation, surveys, and questionnaires. Okay, sampling and research. So, okay, in this phase, when we have to do the system analysis phase, okay, the objective, okay, the main objective or overall objective of this phase is to understand, okay, is to understand the proposed project. Understand the proposed project, because you have to present them to your users or the management of the company to ensure that it will support business requirements. Okay, to ensure that it will support business requirements means that it matches with what users need. And also, this phase will help building a solid foundation for system development in the next phase. Okay. You can use model and other documentation tools to visualize and describe the proposed system. I'm sure that if you go to like work in this area, in the system analysis area here, or SA area, or consulting area, or you go for internship, and then if you have to, if you are assigned to do the task like in the system analysis thing, different students from different universities or different companies may use like different kind of modeling tools and documentation tools. Okay. So in this one, you can see that for the system analysis phase, okay, what it takes. So in this one, we have data and process modeling. We have data and process modeling here. We have requirement modeling. We have object modeling. When we have this kind of thing already, we try to come up with the development strategy so that we can move on to the next phase. Okay. So in this one, for the requirement modeling, what are we going to know, or what are we going to have in order to just like complete this requirement modeling? We need to know output of the system, input of the system, process that we need to have in the system, and also the performance of like the systems, because you have to compare it. I mean, like for the performance of the system, when you just like see the performance, how do we gonna measure it? You can if you just like study for other subjects in terms of CS, we talk about big O, right? But in terms of just like this kind of business information system here, sometimes the performance of the system can be measured by the satisfaction or the satisfactory level of the users as well, apart from the performance of the system itself in terms of just like the measurable performance in terms of numbers. Okay, I mean numerical performance, something like that. So in terms of measuring the performance here, sometimes you may have to just like use the Likert scale if you have to measure for the users for their satisfaction level or the performance of the system. Okay, because sometimes you think that in terms of big O, in terms of just like the speed of the system, it's acceptable. But in terms of just like user satisfaction level, they may say that it's low when they compare with like another system. Okay, something like that. This is the thing that you have to know as well, and you have to find a way to measure. And after that, security. Okay, this one you also have to just like see what is the security measure that the system should have, or that the current system is having right now. Okay. The next one, when we talk about the activities, okay, the system analysis activities here, okay, we have to do data and process modeling first. Okay, some of the tasks that you may also have to do is object modeling, and then we have to think and plan for the development strategies. How do you gonna develop the information system to match with the requirement of the users? So this one that comes up with the system requirements document. okay, that will help us in order to accomplish the strategies of developing this information system that I will talk about in detail when we reach that part. The next one, for this phase, system analysis phase, okay, we need to have, or we need to use these two kind of skills. The skills that people who involved in this phase, that is system analysts, needs to use. The first one is analytical skills, okay, and the other one is interpersonal skills, because you have to deal with other people, including management, including the users. The users here might be key users, and sometimes you have to deal with end users as well. So that's why interpersonal skills is important. And for another skill that you may have to use, but I don't put this one as just like as just like the official one. Actually, we also need to have negotiation skill as well. That I believe all of my students in this class and also in MUSC have it, the negotiation skill, because sometimes when your users say they don't agree or they don't like this feature, but you really want to sell this kind of features or functions to them, you may have to negotiate with them. Also to the management team as well. The negotiation skills from student, from system analyst is like important. Okay. The next one, for team-oriented methods and techniques that we may use. Okay. So we may use joint application development, or some team they may use RAD or rapid application development, or we may use agile methods. It depends on the style of the team and the project manager, that how they would like to organize this team to be. So bear in mind that normally in one company, okay, if you are running the software house, or if you are running a consulting company, or you join the famous consulting firm, okay, they have the standard of the team-oriented method. For example, if this company use JAD, they normally use JAD, okay, for the certain period of time. For example, if we say that, okay, we just go to join this company now, I'm sure that every team use the same idea. They use the same team-oriented method. Okay, so why do they have to do like that? If you decide to use, let's say, if your company decide to use joint application development, so when system analysts, just like familiar with this one, if the project finished and system analyst has to go to work with another team, another project, okay, by using the same team-oriented method like JAD, when you go to the new team, it's easy for you to adapt yourself to work with the new team. But if you say that, okay, this work or this project use JAD, but another project, they plan to use RAD, I'm sure that if you finish this project and join another project, it will be quite difficult for you, because you have to just like adapt yourself a lot in order to just like match with like the team-oriented method that another team use, something like that. But also, it's not depends on your company. It's not just depend on your company. It also depends on the customer as well, or the users as well. Because if the users company who just like they hire you, they want to use RAD, when your company or when your team join your customer, you have to just adjust yourself to use RAD for the team-oriented method as well. Okay, so it depends. You have to just like see how it goes when you just like join that project, or you plan to join that project. But if you just like say that, okay, you would like to set up your own company, and then which way that you want to have, 3 of them, any of them you can use, but you just use it as a standard. The next thing, for the user involvement, okay, when we talk about the joint application development, one thing that is important is the user's involvement. Okay, because when you have to use joint application development, it's just like quick. In order to just like pass from one submodule to another submodule, because your users need to give the feedback a lot. Okay. So that's why you need to have users involvement, because in here you can see that users, they have a vital part or vital stake in information system, because they have to give the feedback. Sometimes they help you to design the screen, the interface, before you can just like pass it to the development team in order to let they develop the system according to the design of the user, something like that. And also, when we have to use JAD, users should participate fully. Fully, what does it mean in this case? It means they should work with you as a full-time member of the team. So that means in the team, if you have joint application development, in one team, it might be consist of like some sub-teams inside. Okay, the big team might be just like controlled by project manager. But in the sub-team, you may just like divide them into like, I mean, in one project, you may have 2 or 3 sub-teams of groups inside. One group consists of system analysts, consists of user, and consists of programmers. You have to work together. So it means that if users, okay, doesn't work as a full-time with the team, what will happen? Suppose we say that this week, Mr. A is available. The user's company send Mr. A to join your team. But next week, he is not available. Miss B will come to just like join your team instead. You can see that everything will not be consistent, because what Mr. A designed might be different from Miss B wants. So if Miss B doesn't want what Mr. A designed, she start or she redo everything. And that means the sub-team or the system analysts and the programmers in the sub-team that Miss B joined has to restart doing everything, and it wastes a lot of time. So that's why they have to participate, or they should participate fully. Okay, this one is important. Next, successful system must be user-oriented, and users need to be involved. Okay, why successful system must be user-oriented? Because users are the people who use that system in the future. They will approve, they will reject of using that system in the future. So that's why they are, I mean, the system are user-oriented. The successful system means a system that users accept, okay, and they agree to use your system. So that's why it must be user-oriented, and they have to be involved as well, because if they don't involve, most of the time we found that most of them will be refused many parts of the system, because they haven't seen it before and they haven't just like be a part of the team. If you can make your users to be a part of the team, everything will be easy. Everything that you design, okay, the users will be accepted by the users and the management of that company. One popular strategy for user involvement is JAD team approach, okay, or joint application development approach. So let's see, how do we organize the joint application development? For the joint application development, we just like allocate the people or participants of the joint application development to be like this. We have JAD project leader, we have top management, we have managers, we have users, we have system analysts and IT staff, we have recorder. Okay. So, okay, one role, one role might be responsible by one person or more people, or one participant can just like can have more than one role, okay, in the chat. So now let's see the first participant first, the project leader. Who is he or who is she? The role of project leader is to develop an agenda, act as a facilitator, and lead the chat session. This one work a bit similar to the project manager, but this one we call them differently. Okay, we call them as JAD project leader because project manager. Okay, the major role of project manager is not at leading off a JAD session, but he or she let like other people to do, and then he or she controls the whole project. But for the JAD project leader has to lead JAD session. Lead JAD session means that once you would like to just like separate them into a small team to do something, the JAD project leader has to help and facilitate this work. Next person is top management. This person will provide the authorization in the enterprise level and support the project. Sometimes the top management role in for just like supporting or this role, we may call this part as project champion. Project champion is the one who supports you for the enterprise level. For example, if you want to have like some more requests to interview someone that is very, very hard to reach or very difficult to access that person, you just like discuss with the top management or for the project champion. He or she should be able to help you to appoint that person for you, something like that. Or if you need to have like some hardware, or if you would like to say that, okay, your team would like to have one photocopier or one Xerox machine, okay, because you have to just like distribute the documents to each members to do blah, 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 okay, he or she may provide it for you. That is project champion or top management in the joint application development. The next one, managers. Managers are lower than the top management. Who are they? They are the people who provide department level support. Okay, the previous person is enterprise level, but this person is for department level support. What for? For the project and understanding of how project must support business function and requirements. Because they own their departments, they know what they want in their department. What do they want? They can tell you, and also they can help supporting. For example, if you want to know something that is like from some users in that department, you just tell the managers. They can just like allocate the people to help answering the questions to you. The next person is users. Users are people who provide the operational level. Operational level what? Operational level input that you need to have, okay, on the current operations or on the as-is system. Desired changes. Okay, what do they want to have in the new system? Input and output requirements, user interface issue, and how the project will support day-to-day tasks. So users will be the people who can answer you and help you to clarify this. The next one is system analysts and other IT staff. Okay, for these people, they provide technical assistance and resources for JAD team members on issues such as security, backup, hardware, software, and network capability. For example, if the JAD team, okay, we run a JAD session for designing, let's see, balance checking. Okay, balance checking module, the stock balance checking module. And when the user design the screen, they design the first screen that, okay, click or scan the barcode in order to check for the stock. Okay, so the system analyst or other IT staff might have to just like recommend them or suggest to them that, hey, once they come to this program, they can't just like go to check the stock immediately. They have to log in first. Otherwise, people from other departments may just like check the stock without the authorization. So this is a security. The that you just like should suggest to them. The next one, the last group of people or the last person of the team is recorder. What is recorder? Documents result, okay, of JAT session and work with system analysts to build system models and develop case2 documentation. So a recorder is a person who just like do the documentation. Sometimes in some JAT team, the recorder might be the system analysts themselves, okay? But sometimes some team may just like hire a person, okay, who becomes the recorder of the team. For example, he or she might be like works like a secretary, okay. But anyway, that recorder needs to understand the case2, need to understand the model as well, okay, because sometimes system analyst doesn't have time to do this documentation. They have to do something else. Then it might be another person to do it. For example, you may say that, okay, who can be the recorder? The intern student can be the recorder, like computer science intern student. Okay. Once you go to your internship, you can just like be the recorder to help the team in order to record or to document the thing. Okay, right. After that, when we talk about the advantages and disadvantages, okay, what are they? For the pros and cons of the JAT, okay, more expensive and can be cumbersome if the group is too large relative to the size of project. Okay. So bear in mind that JAT is more expensive because you need the full-time involvement from the users. And also it takes more time too, because because you have to listen to the users. You can't just like go without a user. They have to just like give you the design or the interface. After that, when you develop, you come back, ask for the confirmation, something like that. Okay. The next one, allow key users to participate effectively. So this one, it means that in some projects, if you don't use joint development, if you do not use the joint application development, the key users might come and just talk and just attend the meeting, just that. But if you use JAT, the key users will have to participate as a full time. So they will participate effectively. Okay. They utilize their time to be with us. The next one, if you properly use JAT, it can result in more accurate statement of system requirements, a better understanding of common goals, and a stronger commitment to the success of the new system, because everyone works together well, okay, like including management, including key users, including IT people, and we work closely. The next one, when we talk about RAD, okay, or rapid application development, what is it? RAD is a team-based technique. This technique speeds up information system development, and also it produces a functioning information system, So this kind of development relies heavily on prototyping and user involvement. So it means that every time you do the meeting, you come up with the prototype. And then the prototype here is not the prototype that you just like throw it away and create it another time for the new prototype. No, but it is just like, it might be a program or a screen that you can really log in. The screen or the programs that you can really send the data to the database, something like that. That is the prototyping. That is the meaning of the prototyping in this RAD. And it's interactive process continue until the system is completely developed and users are satisfied. For example, if we talk about RAD, okay, it will work like this. Firstly, okay, for the requirement planning task, Users, managers, IT staff agree upon business needs, upon project scope, upon system requirements, and then we have approval to continue. Then we get, in this one, it is requirement planning. So the next one that we do is that when we start RAD in details, we do the user design task. Okay, so the user design task here, okay, we the IT people, including system analysts and programmers, have to interact with the user. We interact with them to build models and to build the prototype. Okay, inside RAD, we can also use chat type session as well to join together between user side and the IT side in order to come up with a protocol. Sorry, not protocol, prototype, sorry. And then in the construction phase, program and application development will be done here. Coding, unit integration, and system testing. For example, suppose we say that users help designing the login screen, okay, and the balance checking screen already, okay, and then they agree with this one. So the IT people will help us like make their design to come through. The login screen really works. The balance checking screen really works. And after that, you have to go to just like link this one to the real database. It's in the construction phase. And after that, we just like continue doing the next screen as the next prototype, something like that. We don't throw away anything, okay? But we make it bigger and more functional So this one, we do it repeatedly until we get like almost a full function. When you just like, for example, first time you have like first one small module first. Second time when you just like meet with the users, you have second module, third module, and so on. Once you finish everything, you get the fully functioning system. You go to the cutover phase. For the cutover phase here means that you want to, we integrate everything together, and we really have the data from the as-is system to the to-be system. So we have like tasks to be done. The first done, data conversion. Data conversion means that you convert the data from the legacy system or the as-is system to be in the new system. So sometimes if you say that this is the first system of this company, the old data might be in the paper. Then we need to hire the data entry person to help enter the data for this system. That is data conversion task. Next, full-scale testing means that, okay, when you integrate everything together already, you have to test everything as a whole system, not just as a small module, okay? And after that, we decide for the changeover, the system changeover. For example, you may want, if you discuss with the management of the company, they say that they may want the system to be still run in parallel. For example, okay, our Sky system and OSS system. Right now, OSS system, that is the registration system of MUSC, is still on, okay? Because we have some data that we may need to use from that system as well. So while some systems, they say that no, we want the cutover, means that we just stop using the old system, and everything is in, I mean, they do the data conversion into the new system already. So they want to start using just the new system only. There is no more old system, okay, something like that. And then in the cutover task, you need to have the user training as well, because end users do not know how to use this system yet. Okay. After we have the RAD already, okay, the objective of RAD is to cut development time and expense by involving users in every phase of system development. The reason why RAD can help cutting development time is that if the conventional way of developing is that you send all the requirements and software spec to the programmers. Then programmers develop the system and then they just like send it back to the users for testing. That means if users are not okay, the programmers have to change a lot of things and it wastes the time. While RAD is different because user helps you to design at the beginning and the programmers just like do it gradually. So when we have just like small modules, users can give you the feedback straight away. If the programmers have to change something, they change just a little bit only. So it doesn't waste lots of time when compared with the conventional way of development. And then when you would like to have the successful RAD team, okay, you must have IT resources, you must have skills, and also you must have support from the management so that the RAD team can be successfully set up. Because if the management doesn't support you, sometimes if the users are not okay, they just like work with you 1 day a week, and for the rest, for working days, they go back to work for their regular tasks or daily tasks or day-to-day tasks or routine job, something like that. It's just like go back to the conventional way anyway. But if the management supports your team, they may say that they approve this person to work with your team as a full-time. For their routine work, it might be like somebody else who is responsible and do instead of this person. So that's why we need to have management support. And also, RAD helps a development team design a system that requires highly interactive or complex user interface. Okay, how? Because highly interactive or complex user interface here, you will know that whether it works well with your users or not is when the users test of this interface. That means if users are with you all the time, they can tell you that whether this interface is okay or not. Because you know, if you just like get the requirement from the user, okay, let's imagine you are SA. You get the requirement from the user. You translate it to the programmer. When the programmer finish that task, they send it back to you. You just like communicate with the users for what programmers just like prepare it. If users are not okay with this design, they tell you, you have to revise it, send to the programmer. You can see that you waste a lot of time because you work as a third person. Okay, or sorry, not third person, middle person between programmer and user. But if all of you work together, if the users are not okay with it, they can tell the programmer. If programmer doesn't understand what user said, okay, they can ask the users, or they may just ask you to translate to the users, and users can respond to the programmer straight away. This one, okay, can help the development team to design the highly interactive or complex user interface effectively. The next thing, pros and cons of rapid application development. System can be developed more quickly with significant cost saving because you save lots of time. Okay, you save a lot of iteration to go back and forth and make system analyst as a middle person to just like try to communicate. Okay, RAD stresses the mechanics of the system itself and does not emphasize company strategic business needs. Okay. In this one, you have to be careful. It does not emphasize the company's strategic business needs. The reason is because normally you work with key users, your key users. Normally, key users belong to the company's like department, specific departments only. So they may not know that, okay, what is a strategic business need that top management want to have. So you have to try to check with the top management or the department managers all the time, okay, for the strategic business needs that they need to have. And RAD might allow less time to develop quality, consistency, and design standards. Okay, so this one is good. If you would like to just like save the time for having like the good quality standards, okay, you should just like use RAD. But if you ask me that why don't everyone use RAD, the reason is because sometimes some organizations are not ready to use RAD. Their users may not have time to be with you all the time. Okay, and you don't have many system analysts or programmers enough in order to just like break the task into small teams, something like that. Okay. So the next one, the next technique is agile method. Okay. Apart from JAD, RAD, we have agile method. Agile method here, we try to develop a system incrementally. Okay. For the Agilian modeling toolset that we use in agile method include support for many modeling tools. Some of the agile developers prefer not to use case tool at all. So it depends. Okay. If you say that, okay, can we use agile and also we use the case tool? Yes, you may be able to use that, but somebody do not prefer. They may just like want to use just like paper and pen, paper and pencil, or I mean flip chart, or they may use whiteboard display. Okay, and they have like sticky note to attach on that whiteboard or the flip chart. It depends. Okay, because I mean like even I just like saw some projects that has been developed by leading consulting firms. When they use agile, normally they just like dedicate one side of the wall in the meeting room and attach lots of the sticky notes, okay, for the agile development because it's easy for everyone. Okay, the next thing, when we talk about agile method, one term that we use is Scrum. Okay, it's a session. Okay, Scrum is the rugby term. Okay, when we talk about PICs, okay, PICs, who are they? It includes product owner, facilitator, and development team. Okay, while chicken, we have user, other stakeholders, and managers. So we just like divide people into two major groups, pigs and chicken. Okay, so Scrum session has specific guidelines that emphasize time blocks, interaction, and team-based activities. So that means when they divide people into different groups already, different group has different tasks to do. Okay, they have like the same time blocks to share. For example, we say that, okay, this time block is 2 weeks. Okay, what do the pigs group do? What do the chickens group do? Something like that. They have to do together. I mean, people in the pigs team have to do together, like product owner, facilitator, and development team just discuss and do together. While chicken team, they just like join together and do their task according to the assignment. Okay. We say that, okay, when we have specific guidelines, okay, for the Scrum of the team that we have, we separate time blocks. We just like allocate the interaction, and also we have team-based activity that result in deliverable software that finally we will get it. The next thing is that pros and cons of Agile. Okay. Agiles are very flexible and efficient in dealing with change. Okay. because we divide the people who related their work to each other to be in the same group. Frequent deliverables constantly validate the project and reduce risk. Okay. Team members need a high level of technical and interpersonal skills because you have to just like heavily discuss among the teammates. Okay. Pon Gamon, why not? Why not? What why not, Cap? Sorry. I just see your question now. Why not? What why not?
I mean, earlier you said that some people don't use agile methods. Why do they not use it? Is there some disadvantage or something?
Because they don't have skills. That's why they don't use. You know that?
Okay.
I mean, that is the most
Okay.
difficult part because sometimes, because agile is not what to say rules of thumb. You have to learn. You have to learn for the way in order to break people in the group. And also, that's not enough. The people in each group must have the what to say high level of technical and interpersonal skill as well. In some team sets, they're not ready really. They
What
need
exactly do you need? What exactly is agile method? I'm kind of confused about that.
agile method actually is just like to break the team to do the task that is like different from others. I mean, like they separate people to different teams, right? Pigs and chicken, right? The pig team, okay, they also include the technical people as well, while chicken team doesn't have. You can see that for Jet and Rat. Every small team you need to have technical people, but agile, no. One group just like think of the functional part. The other group just think of the technical part, but you need the cooperation of the management. That is different. For for the detail in agile, if you want to know more, I have some books for you. Okay, I can just introduce because agile is a kind of a team set. We are still in the system development life cycle anyway. But if you use agile, it can expedite some phases together to make it just like instead of having analysis and then we go to design and then we go to implement phase. No, agile don't do like that. They compact everything into just like the small team set, and it does dynamically.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. And then it may be subject to significant change in scope. This one you have to know because as I told you that we separate one team as the technical part together with the management. Another team work for the functional one. The team that we have like management with technical might change the scope of the project. So it might be a significant change in the scope that you have to know. One thing you have to know is that if the scope is changed, what will happen? If the project scope is changed, the first one for sure, time will be changed. Second one, money. The budget that you have to prepare, if the scope is increasing, you have to pay a lot more. Okay, right. So, but I think from my point of view, all of my students here in this generation, you will go well with agile. Believe me. I just like see people in many generations already. Okay, and I think the agile method, okay, fits with your style for the student in this generation because you just like move everything so quick. So agile is very good. So if you want to know more, you just like ask me for some books later. Okay, when we just like resume studying in the campus, so that I can just like show you what books that you should read, and then it will be just like benefit for you in the near future. Right. When we talk about this one
Wait,
already.
Atal,
Yes.
you said we will resume studying in the campus. It's like this term.
I think next term should be okay. Everyone should be at the campus. So you just like go to see me at the office. I can just introduce you for many books because I'm in this area, so I have like so many books about like human-computer interaction, interaction design, system analysis and design, and so on. Yeah. Right. Okay. Any questions before I move on to the next thing that we should know about this? Okay. If we don't have any questions, when we talk about the methods that we use for setting the team in system development already. Now, let's move on modeling tools and techniques. You have to know that when we set up the team, okay, we one goal for set you up into the team is to prepare the model for that system. Okay, what are modeling tools should we use, and what are modeling techniques that we should use in order to just like prepare the model for serving users and then the participants or stakeholders in that information system. For modeling tools, there are graphical way in order to represent the system, okay, in each stage of development. Okay. So the graphical here also including the non-technical language as well. Non-technical language means that the language that your users and the management can understand. Because if you just like use all technical terms, they don't know what we are talking about, then in order to just like prepare the modeling tools, you can see that the people who can just like prepare this kind of model should be system analysts, because normally system analyst is the person who can translate the business requirement to the technical terms. So that means on the other way around, system analysts can translate the technical terms back to the business terms, okay, to the non-technical terms, so that the users can understand. Okay, so we can use various tools that represent the system, okay, graphically. Okay, so first one, we may use FDD or functional decomposition diagrams. Okay, the FDD, okay, I'll show you the example later on. FDD model the business functions and also show how they organize into lower level processes. Apart from that one, we also have the business process modeling. Okay, so what are they? Okay, what are the example of the business process modeling tools? We may use business process model or BPM. We may use business process modeling notation. We may use pool diagram or swim lane diagram to show this kind of business processes in the system or related to the system or outside the system, but it's in the organization. Okay. And the next one, okay, that I'll teach you in this class in detail is data flow diagram or DFD. Okay. In this diagram, it represents the information system and the interaction of information system with each business function. It shows how system stores, processes, and transform the data. Also, they just like show the level of information and also the details of different levels of information as well, show as like groups or levels of data flow diagrams. Apart from that, you may use UML or Unified Modeling Language. Okay, this is widely used method of visualizing as well as documenting software system design. Okay, and for the use case diagrams here, we have actor. Okay, and we also have the sequence diagram. Okay, for example, in here the actor is, in this example, the actor is customer. Okay, submit the card data to the system, and we have like validate credit cards inside, something like that. Okay, we just like talk about in detail when we reach the UML part. That is about the process modeling. The next thing that we have to know is output and input of the system. For the system requirement checklist, in terms of output, for example, website must report online volume statistics every 4 hours and hourly during peak period. This one is just like the checklist for the output. Okay, we will use it to check whether this website reports the online volume statistics or not. Okay, the first one. Second one, whether this website can report the online volume statistics every 4 hours or not. Okay, and also during peak period, what time are they? And then does this website report the online volume statistics hourly or not? Okay, or the output like this. We may have the checklist like inventory system must produce a daily report showing the part number, description, quantity on hand, quantity allocated, quantity available, and unit cost of all sorted by part number. Then you just check whether the output of inventory system can produce these corresponding list of data or not. Okay, that is a checklist that you may have to do. In this one, when you have to develop the output checklist or system requirement checklist, you may just like put them in terms of table, like you just like use Microsoft Word or Excel to prepare, and then you have a checkbox. So your users or the system tester may just like test the system and just tick for this kind of output, whether they match with what we need or not. While input, we also need to prepare the checklist as well. Okay. For example, manufacturing employees must swipe their ID cards into online data collection terminals that record labor costs and calculate production efficiency. Then you have to check the first one. Okay, when the system is used, do all employees swipe their ID card into online data collection or not? If no, why not? You may just like have some notes that, okay, for example, because some employees doesn't need to use like the swiping of the ID card. They just like sign in the book, something like that. Okay, then you just like have to know what's going on, what is the constraint of the system. If you may set up the ID card reader, and then you just like calculate anything based on the swiping of the card, you will know that there will be somebody who don't use this kind of card reader. Okay, and then we may have to discuss in the meeting with the executive of the company that is it possible for letting everyone who are the employees of the manufacturing factory or our company to just swipe their card, or would you change everyone's for like check their time attendance by using, let's say, fingerprints or tap the card instead? Okay, something like that. The next one is that, okay, the department heads must enter overtime hours on a separate screen. So you may have to check that, okay, whether department heads enter their overtime hours or not. If they enter the overtime hours, do they have separate screen, or the screen is the same screen as like other users? And what are they? Something like that. You have the checklist. Okay, because this one for the inputting, because if you know that these are important input for being processed in the next step, okay, all the input must be ready, because you have to know that when the system really runs, we never use manually input. We have to just like use the system to be able to help the users as much as it can. It's better than just like if you just like plan carefully, but when the, let's say, when the employees do not swipe their ID card, you just hire the data entry person to key in. No, that one is not good. You have to just like use the system to help instead. Right. Okay, then today I just finished at the inputs requirement checklist. Okay. On the next class, I will continue for other checklists that we need to have and we need to know. Right. Up to this point, do you have any questions? No, Asher, no question. Asher, where are you right now?
I'm in the uni, Ajahn.
Oh, okay, right, that's good. Okay, I thought that you were at home. Okay, then, that's good, everyone. Okay, thank you, everyone, to tell me whether you don't have the question. But if you have the question, feel free to send me a line message. I don't mind, and I'm happy to answer you. But unfortunately, if you ask me quite late at night, you may have to wait until another morning to see the answer, because normally, right, at night I'm very busy, and then I'll just like be available again after midnight. I might answer your question after midnight, so you see it again on the morning time. Okay. Before we finish the class, hang on, let me just have a look a little bit. For team discussion, let me just check this one a bit. Okay, while I'm waiting for Canvas for loading, everyone, could you please just like turn on the camera so that I can just like capture the screen before we leave the room.